Dr. Mathers. It's nice to meet
Yes,
you.
nice to meet you.
Welcome to ASHS.
Thank you.
How's it been so far here at the conference for you?
Well, I actually only arrived last night,
Oh, last night.
so I sort of came, to do my talk.
Yeah.
So
Nice. What are you presenting on?
I'm presenting on the residues of herbicide
Hmm.
on nursery trees and how they degrade over
Oh,
time.
interesting.
Yeah, and how that correlates to the normal rated score and phytotoxicity of
Hmm.
herbicides in weed science work.
Yeah. I saw on your company website that you do a lot of work with kind of degradation of different pesticides and how that affects, tree damage or human health or things like that.
Right, right. It's a big issue, and it has essentially no research being done in
Oh, really?
it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw it. It looks like you're really active with that, and you've gone around the world, around the country to help people with that before. So it sounds like you've had a big impact with that.
Yeah, I feel I've had a very big impact. I feel I've helped a lot of people, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, then speaking of kind of, the impact that you've had with horticulture for other people, maybe following up, like what kind of impact has horticulture had for you?
Oh, it gave me purpose.
Hey, that's good enough. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. My grandmother was an avid horticulturalist. She was not professionally trained or anything, but she had a huge garden, an orchard, and a blackcurrant patch.
Nice.
And I used to go over there because she lived just behind where my parents worked. And so I went over there a lot, and I learned a lot of plant names and plants and an appreciation of plants
Hmm.
from her. So uh, I guess the impact on me started very young.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I can I understand that because yeah, my grandfather was again avid horticulturalist, but definitely, kind of a homegrown variety, not
Yes.
professional in California and growing, a bit of everything, pomegranates and lemons
Yes.
and everything, and that really struck an interest with me at a young age. So it's
Yes.
nice to see that, that carries on into the future.
Yes. Yes. I try to instill that in other young people now. Like if somebody, some like the hairdresser in, indicated that her daughter was very interested in tree fruit. And of course, that's what I studied in my undergraduate, master's, and PhD.
Yeah.
So I gave her a book
Oh, that's
because it's about the identification of the cultivars because she's just young,
yeah,
but to show her, just how much is out there.
yeah,
You know, I think that's a big thing about horticulture is people don't understand how big a field it
yeah.
is.
Oh, yeah.
So
So then, what sort of positions have you had in the past in working in horticulture? I know you've taught in the past as faculty, and then now you're running your consulting business. Is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah, I was a nursery specialist, provincial nursery specialist in Alberta, and then in British Columbia. And then I moved to Oregon State and was an associate professor. And then I went to Ohio State and rose to the rank of full professor. And then in 2015, I started my own business. So that's what I've been doing for the last 10 years.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, besides, it's giving you purpose, but it also sounds like it's giving you a pretty diverse career path
Oh
too.
yeah, that's been really cool.
Yeah.
Um, I say I have a very broad background,
Mhm.
which allows me, I do expert witness stuff
Yeah.
for herbicide residues and things like that. And I, not to brag, but I cover almost every crop. And because my background is really in stress physiology,
Mhm.
cold stress, but I say stress physiology as a whole.
Mhm.
Um, it gives me a very broad background.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, kind of like you're saying, horticulture is such a diverse field, and then,
yes,
you bring in like the law and witnessing, it
yeah,
seems like you can take it in a lot of directions just, outside of the lab or the classroom.
yes,
Yeah.
yes. Oh yeah. It's I've really enjoyed working for myself. I
Mhm.
was not a very good fit in faculty. It's a little too entrepreneurial, I think.
Ah, well, I'm happy to hear that you found the right fit, the right place
Yes,
to engage in that kind of
yes,
spirit.
yeah, yeah.
So then of, kind of all the different things that you've done over the years, which I guess might have been the most rewarding part, or maybe if it's just the entrepreneurial part, maybe there's different things, different highlights that you had along the way.
Well, I think that owning my own business has been the most rewarding part. And doing the expert witness stuff has actually been very rewarding because I've met a lot of people and impacted a lot of people. There's not a lot of people, and it's because of the background that I accumulated, including as a faculty member. I don't think the background that you get as a faculty member can be duplicated
Yeah.
because you get exposed to a lot of things and you learn how to manage your time and you learn how to explore the literature and spend long hours,
Hmm.
you know. um, and that's pretty much a key to a lot of things. So I think that was actually invaluable
Hmm.
to, I usually say I wish I would have started my own business sooner, but when would it have been enough background? I don't know.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. Well, yeah, it sounds like that worked out well then. Like you were saying, you never know
Yeah,
what's needed till you're in there. And it sounds like you got the kind of background that you needed from academia to really
yeah,
succeed in
yeah,
your consulting.
yeah. And it's, just like when I was, a professor, you had to pick some sort of specialization area. I was in nursery and landscape crops, but really the weed science, because, well, when I was in Oregon, there was 3 things that they funded as grants from the industry: disease, insects, and weeds. So, there's an entomology department, there's a plant pathology department. Weeds usually falls to the horticulturalist,
Hmm.
though we don't have a lot of background in it.
Right.
So I started doing weed science in British Columbia, continued on in Oregon, and then continued on at Ohio State because it allowed me to get more grants
Hmm.
to have, be into pest management. And, you know, it's sort of interesting. I used to encourage all my graduate students to get some level of pest management.
Yeah, I mean, I'm feeling the burden of that right now in our research projects. Of like, I don't know too much about IPM, and I really need to. Looking at some of our plots, it's there's definitely a lot of, it seems like, critical background, a lot of things that people miss by being siloed off in their
Yeah.
specialties.
And I think that's what has happened to me in owning my own business is that I've had to take on a lot of different topics.
Hmm.
And, I'm not to say that I didn't delve into things when I was at the university, but um, you certainly had to delve into a more, you know, broad range of things.
Yeah, yeah.
I've learned a lot about herbicides, like more than I knew, and that's sort of interesting, to think I was doing research grants and research in horticulture, but that was, I was mainly doing for, nursery trees,
Hmm.
which actually there's not a lot of herbicides compared to the agricultural crops.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because I chose the drift area. And so a lot of the drift is coming from agricultural crops
Right.
onto specialty crops. So,
Hmm.
yeah.
Well, I could pick your brain about this kind of stuff for a long time, but maybe we'll kind of stick to the program a little
Yeah.
bit. I want to follow up with kind of your background in ASHS. How long have you been a member?
Yeah.
What have you been involved in, and how has the society helped you?
Um, well, let's start with the last question. The
Hmm.
society has, you know, people look at your professional associations that you're a member of. So it gives you, some sort of credentials, some sort of credence.
Mhm.
And then, you know, being access to the journals is, invaluable.
Yeah.
I used to have an access to, you know, the web as a whole to do literature searches, but now I focus on Weed Science Society and ASHS. And pretty much that covers quite a spectrum, so that's important. I've been a member, geez, since the 80s. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen a lot of change and development in the society since then too.
Yes, I haven't been to a meeting for quite a while.
Oh, well.
You know, I don't know how many industry people are here, but it used to be that like hardly anybody went from industry. And I think it's an untapped resource that ASHS should capitalize on, because a lot of students don't go into faculty, they go into industry, and industry is quite rewarding. So I encourage young people to do that.
Yeah, well, if I could follow up on that, is there any additional advice or kind of follow-up for students in the society, things that they could take advantage of or look more into, especially regarding their involvement with ASHS?
Yeah, it's hard to give a blanket recommendation.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it all depends what you're going to go into. And I'd like to say, you know, when I used to come to ASHS meetings, I only went to nursery presentations. I just sat in on a fruit presentation because I deal with a lot of things now. So if you're, I guess I think it's a pretty good, maybe it is a good recommendation for everybody, is to not focus yourself too much. You know, to a certain, you know, you have to focus if you're a professor because you have to publish in your field.
Yeah.
So, but don't limit yourself. You know, if you have an opportunity to gain knowledge in another subject area, go for it. Because actually, a lot of things that develop in other fields of horticulture will have an impact in your field, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a chance on a post-harvest session yesterday, which is not my thing, but
Yeah.
the talks were fascinating. So
Yeah.
definitely gave me a lot of ideas like, oh, if I could take this sensor and apply it to something else. But
Yes.
yeah, I definitely see, you know,
What
the
is your
value of that.
subject area?
Stress physiology.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's
In all crops?
sorry.
In all crops?
A lot.
Oh, wow.
Fruiting crops mostly, you know, tomatoes, peppers,
Yeah.
muskmelons, things like that.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
well, kind of wrapping up here, you know, sounds like you've done a lot, seen a lot, or involved in a lot. It sounds really
Yeah,
exciting and rewarding. You know, what do you see, you know, coming down the pike in the future of, you know, horticultural research or ASHS that really excites you or that you're looking forward to?
I think horticulture affords a lot of opportunities to young people because it is so untapped. You know, there's so many things that you could study that actually have never been studied before. And that's exciting, I think, that you could have such an impact in your field, you know, depending upon what you choose. And what does it hold in the future? Gee, I hope we're not all replaced by AI. I saw breeding over here, the use of AI in fruit breeding, and I thought, wow. So breeders are going to become extinct too.
I mean, you know, I'm sure there's some things we won't complain about if it could do our literature reviews for us and write our papers for us and our grant proposals for us, you know, but a point taken, yeah. I think it can't replace human creativity and there's always room for that in horticulture, I think, at least.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, some people have asked me, what was your greatest strength? And I think it was the creative part. I never was short on a research idea, which, you know, I always found interesting that a lot of people seem to be short on research ideas. I guess another thing was working with the industry. It seems as though there's tiers in horticulture. At least when I was in the association, it's probably not as much now. But extension was the bottom tier, you know, and then your research, you know, it's sort of like there's always,
Bit of a pecking order.
yes. And it's strange because the extension people, and in the original format of the land grant university, that's what it was supposed to be, is research extended to the industry. Somewhere along the line, I think we lost that, you know, because, you know, we're doing things, but is it really reaching the industry? And that's where it's supposed to go. And if you work with the industry, you gain so many ideas,
Yeah.
you know.
This is something my PIs mentioned before, where now it seems like, you know, the industry is really the people doing a lot of the innovation that then filters into the academic research, and then we make use of it. So it
Yeah,
sounds like things kind of got flipped at some point.
yeah. I was just in this talk on heat stress, and they were talking about micro sprinklers for blueberries and cooling from the heat stress. And obviously there were growers. They were working at growers to use their micro sprinkler technology. So that's interesting because they've obviously adapted it before they completely knew what it was doing.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I don't want to dominate the conversation or take it on for too long, but yeah, I think that's another thing that makes horticulture really interesting, is kind of a fusion of art and science in some degree.
Oh yeah, I've always said it's the most artsy of the sciences. Which is, you know, right down my alley, because I tend to be a little bit more arts oriented. So I think it is an interesting. Well, at the university, they used to say you could tell the Aggies and you could tell the art students.
Well, Dr. Mathers, thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.
Yes,
It's a pleasure meeting you.
thank you very much.